Today, we will learn about the issue that has shaken the very foundation of The Bold and the Beautiful, one of daytime television's most emotionally powerful and dramatic storylines in recent memory. The recent sequence of events involving Shiloh, Luna, Liam, Finn and Steffi has delivered an overwhelming combination of action, heartbreak and irreversible tragedy. What began as a confrontation spiraled into a near-fatal shootout, leading to irreversible loss, emotional reckoning and a depth of sorrow that few characters on the show have ever faced. As Luna grew more agitated, the struggle over the weapon began. Sheila, always brash and willing to take risks, lunged forward to disarm her granddaughter in the tussle. The gun fired unexpectedly, and a bullet grazed Sheila's toe. The pain was sharp, but not life-threatening. Still, the injury brought a momentary halt to the confrontation, just long enough for Liam to enter the room, hearing the gunfire from nearby. Liam had rushed in instinctively to protect Steffi and tried to defuse the situation. He found Luna still armed and trembling, Steffi, paralyzed with fear and Sheila bleeding. Liam wasted no time. He leapt into action, tackling Luna in an effort to pry the weapon from her hand. But Luna, still gripped by panic and rage, reacted swiftly, firing a shot that hit Liam. The impact sent Liam staggering back, blood seeping through his shirt. However, summoning what little strength he had left, Liam did not back down. With incredible determination, he managed to wrest the gun from Luna's grip. In the same moment, knowing the threat had not yet ended, Liam turned the weapon on Luna and fired. The bullet hit its mark, and Luna collapsed just before Liam lost consciousness and fell beside her. Emergency responders arrived quickly and began triggering the scene. Sheila's injury was minor and quickly treated. She remained alert and coherent, but Liam and Luna were both in critical condition. Blood covered the floor, and paramedics worked frantically to stabilize both of them before rushing them to the hospital. Sirens wailed as Steffi clutched Liam's hand in the ambulance, praying that the man who had just risked his life to save her would pull through at the hospital. A team of surgeons immediately prepped Liam and Luna for emergency surgery. Doctors worked urgently to remove the bullets and stop the bleeding. The waiting area filled with anxious loved onesville. Spencer arrived to support his son. Steffi sat by silently, her hands shaking while Finn remained on call, torn between his medical obligations and his personal connection to both victims. Hours passed. Finally, doctors emerged with news Liam's injury, while Sirius had not damaged any vital organs. The bullet had missed his heart by inches, and after surgery, his condition was upgraded to stable. Steffi broke down in relief, hugging Bill as they both thanked the medical team for saving Liam's life. Bill, who had feared losing his son, vowed to stay by Liam's side until full recovery. But the news about Luna was not hopeful. The bullet had caused extensive internal damage, and her body had already lost too much blood. Despite every possible intervention, her vital signs continued to deteriorate. The doctors, knowing there was little time left, informed Finn of the grave reality: Luna wouldn't survive the night. If he wanted to say goodbye, it had to be now. Finn, stunned and devastated, walked slowly into Luna's hospital room. His heart ached as he looked at the young woman lying motionless on the bed, tubes and monitors surrounding her fragile body. He sat beside her, holding her hand and sure of what to say. For so long, he had kept his distance ever since discovering Luna was his daughter. Finn had struggled with accepting her presence in his life. He had pushed her away, believing it was easier to avoid the complications and emotional fallout. But now, as she lay dying, all he could feel was regret. Luna's eyes slowly fluttered open. Her voice was faint, barely a whisper, but her words pierced Finn's heart like a knife. "I didn't want this. I just wanted a dad. That's all I ever wanted. I just wanted to be loved by you." Her voice cracked under the weight of truth. Finn's throat tightened. Tears streamed down his face. He could hardly breathe through the pain. He held her hand tighter, trying to keep her with him just a moment longer. "I'm here, Luna. I'm here now. I'm sorry. I should have been there. I should have been your father the way you needed me to be." But Luna just smiled faintly. "It's okay. I forgive you." And with that, her breath slowed, her grip loosened, and her eyes closed for the final time. The monitors went still. The room fell silent. Luna was gone. Finn broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. His cries echoed through the corridor as he clung to her hand, Devastated beyond words, nurses stepped outside to give him space, and even Steffi, who had been watching from the doorway, turned away in tears. The weight of Luna's final words, her plea for a father's love, left Finn drowning in sorrow. He had lost his daughter before ever truly knowing her. Back in the CU, Liam began to wake, though weak. He recognized Steffi beside him and managed a small smile. She held his hand and thanked him again for saving her life. Bill stood close, proud and relieved despite the tragedy. Liam's survival was a blessing. The news of Luna's death quickly spread. Poppy, upon learning that her daughter was gone, collapsed in grief. Her sobs were heard down the hospital hallways as she cried for the daughter she had tried to protect, the daughter whose pain had never been fully understood until it was too late. Sheila, despite her own injury, sat in a wheelchair at the hospital window, looking out in silence. She had tried to help, tried to stop Luna, and in the end, her own family had once again been torn apart by violence and miscommunication. Though she had survived, the emotional scars were deep. Her own role in the confrontation, however well-intentioned, won't forever haunt her. As the week progressed, funeral arrangements were made for Luna. A small service was held, attended by Finn, Poppy, Sheila, Steffi, and a few others. The atmosphere was somber, the mood heavy with regret. At the service, Finn gave a eulogy that left the room in tears. He spoke of lost time, of second chances never taken, and of a daughter he would carry in his heart forever. The fallout from Luna's death left everyone shattered. Steffi tried to console Finn, but even she struggled to come to terms with what had happened. Liam's recovery was slow but steady. He eventually returned home with Bill, who remained vigilant and supportive throughout the healing process. But the emotional wounds ran deeper than any physical scars for Finn. The tragedy changed everything. He became more committed to his patients, more emotionally open with those he loved, determined never again to take anyone for granted. He often visited Luna as if she were still there, vowing to live a life that would make her proud. Sheila, despite her past, earned a small measure of grace from Steffi and Finn. Her actions during the shooting had saved Steffi's life. And though history could not be erased, it could be acknowledged. Sheila was no longer seen as an enemy, but as a complicated part of their family. Simeon, who had done wrong, but also tried to make things right. As time moved forward, the characters of the bold and the beautiful tried to rebuild, but the loss of Luna left a hole that could never be filled. Her final words, her longing for connection, and her tragic end would forever serve as a reminder that love, acceptance, and forgiveness should never be delayed. Next, we will dive deep into the intriguing and shadowy developments surrounding Grace Buckingham's enigmatic behavior on The Bold and the Beautiful. Fans of the long-running soap opera have been buzzing with questions about the mysterious doctor, whose bedside manner has raised more than a few eyebrows. Is Grace truly the compassionate healer she claims to be? Or is there a darker side lurking beneath her professional facade? In this extended exploration, we'll dissect her recent actions, speculate on her hidden motives, and introduce fresh theories about the forces at play in this gripping storyline. Buckle up, because we're about to unravel a tangled web of secrets, suspicion, and surprise in the world of Forrester Creations, and beyond. Unpacking Grace Buckingham's unsettling behavior. Let's start with the scene that set tongues wagging among B&B enthusiasts during the Thursday, July 3 episode. Grace found herself in a heated exchange with Finn Finnegan regarding the critical condition of Liam Spencer. Rather than displaying the calm, measured demeanor one might expect from a seasoned physician, Grace was visibly agitated, her voice reaching a fever pitch as she insisted that Finn pressure Liam into accepting a life-extending treatment. Her fervor bordered on desperation, a stark contrast to the typically composed nature of medical professionals. Was it genuine concern for Liam? Or does it hint at a more personal stake in his outcome? Adding to the intrigue, Finn Ever, the ethical doctor, stood firm in his belief that the choice must rest solely with Liam, highlighting a moral divide between the two medics. This clash of principles suggests that Grace might be wrestling with influences far beyond the hospital walls, perhaps tethered to a hidden agenda that could spell trouble for everyone involved. The mysterious phone calls a clue were a red herring, as if Grace's intense behavior wasn't perplexing enough. The episode threw in another curveball, her incessantly ringing phone, which she pointedly ignored during her discussion with Finn. Each shrill tone seemed to hide in the tension like a ticking clock counting down to some unseen calamity. When she finally answered her terse, almost hostile response, "I can't talk right now," only deepened the mystery he was on the other end of that line. And why did Grace seem so rattled by their call? It's as if she's dodging someone near something that holds power over her. Could this be a disgruntled colleague, a shadowy figure from her past, or even a desperate family member entangled in her choices? One can't help but imagine a scenario where Grace, beneath her polished exterior, is caught in a high-stakes game of secrecy, where every ring of her phone is a reminder of a bargain she might regret striking. This detail paints her not just as a doctor with questionable ethics, but as a potential pawn in a larger, more sinister plot. Is Grace a villain or a victim? Let's explore the burning question. What exactly is Grace Buckingham up to? On one hand, her aggressive push for Liam's treatment raises the chilling possibility that she's not the savior she appears to be. Could she be exploiting Liam's vulnerable state for some nefarious purpose, perhaps treating him as a guinea pig for an intest drug or procedure? The idea of a dirty doctor isn't new to soap operas, but the layers of Grace's character suggest there's more to her story. On the other hand, her erratic behavior and those cryptic phone calls hint at coercion. Is Grace being manipulated by an unseen force compelled to act against her better judgment? Imagine a scenario where she's fallen prey to a ruthless blackmailer, someone who knows a damning secret about her past, perhaps a medical mishap or a personal scandal that could ruin her career and reputation. If she's a victim, then her actions, while troubling, might stem from a place of fear rather than malice, making her a tragic figure caught in a moral quagmire. Finn's surprising step back, it calls for concern. Another puzzling element in this unfolding drama is Finn Finnegan's apparent withdrawal from Liam's case. Known for his miraculous work in saving Eric Forrester from the brink of death, Finn's decision to leave Liam's fate in Grace's hands feels jarring. Why would a doctor with such a proven track record of tenacity and skill step aside so readily? Perhaps Finn senses something off about Grace's approach, but lacks concrete evidence to intervene. Or maybe he's grappling with his own emotional exhaustion after years of high-stakes medical battles, choosing to trust a colleague rather than overextend himself. Whatever the reason, his absence as Liam's primary advocate leaves a void, one that Grace seems all too eager to fill. This dynamic introduces an unsettling power imbalance at the hospital, where Grace's unchecked influence over Liam's treatment could lead to catastrophic consequences if her intentions are anything but pure. Liam Spencer, a target of hidden enemies. At the heart of this mystery lies Liam Spencer, a character whose charm often masks a history of romantic missteps. While he may come across as the quintessential nice guy to casual observers, those closer to him, namely Steffi Forster and Hope Lugong, know the pain he's caused through his indecisiveness and betrayals. Could his tumultuous relationships have bred enemies willing to harm him? On the surface, neither Steffi nor Hope seems capable of orchestrating a plot to physically hurt Liam. Their battles with him have always been emotional rather than violent. However, teaching Liam a harsh lesson about accountability might not be beyond their realm of consideration. Picture a scenario where one of them, driven by years of frustration, confides in a powerful ally who takes matters too far unbeknownst to them. Such a twist would add a devastating layer of guilt to their already complex dynamics, with Liam turning past heartaches into present dangers. Bill Spencer's shadow, a father's twisted lesson. Speaking of powerful allies, let's turn our attention to Bill Spencer, Liam's father, whose complicated relationship with his son offers fertile ground for speculation. The show previously teased a storyline where Bill in a fit of rage fired Liam after a scathing reprimand, only to abruptly abandon that arc. Could Bill be resurfacing in a darker, more manipulative role, known for his ruthless business tactics and morally grey decisions? A full pardon for Luna knows all. After her involvement into murders, Bill is no stranger to playing God in the lives of those around him. What if he's using Grace as a proxy to deliver a brutal lesson in loyalty to Liam, believing that a near-death scare might finally straighten out his wayward son? While this theory may seem far-fetched, Bill's history of extreme measures suggests he's capable of orchestrating such a scheme, with Grace serving as either a willing accomplice or an unwitting tool in his arsenal. Theories and speculations. Who's behind Grace's actions? As we piece together the clue, one question looms large. If Grace is indeed acting under someone else's influence, who might that puppet master be beyond Bill? Other suspects emerge from the shadows of the bold and the beautiful, sprawling cast. Perhaps it's a rival from Liam's past, someone like Wyatt Spencer, who has long lived in his brother's shadow and might harbor unresolved resentment, or consider a wild card. A pharmaceutical mogul with ties to the hospital using Grace to test a controversial drug on Liam as a means of securing FDA approval through an ethical means. Each possibility opens up new avenues of drama with Grace caught at the center of a storm she may not fully comprehend. As fans, we're left to wonder whether her actions will lead to redemption or ruin, and how Liam will emerge from this ordeal, if he emerges at all. Next, we're diving into a wild and unpredictable twist on The Bold and the Beautiful that has fans buzzing with anticipation, and a touch of dark humor. If there's one thing this iconic soap opera is known for, it's delivering over-the-top drama with a side of cheeky foreshadowing. In recent episodes, we witnessed a tense showdown between Luna Nozawa and the ever-resilient Sheila Carter, culminating in a gunshot that left viewers on the edge of their seats. But as the dust settles, it's not just the injury itself that has everyone talking. Gets the quirky, almost absurd implications of Sheila's latest misfortune. In this extended exploration, we'll unpack the dramatic cliffhanger, dive into Sheila's storied past with a fresh perspective, and speculate on how this latest incident might ripple through the lives of characters in the Forrester universe. Get ready for a roller coaster of emotions, a sprinkle of laughter and plenty of surprises as we dissect this unforgettable moment. A cliffhanger for the ages: Luna and Sheila's deadly dance. Let's rewind to the heart-pounding conclusion of Monday's episode, where tension soared to dizzying heights as Luna and Sheila grappled over a loaded gun. Their struggle was electric, charged with raw emotion and unspoken vendettas as each fought for control in a battle that felt like a metaphor for their chaotic lives. Then, with a deafening bang, a shot rang out and the screen faded to black, a textbook soap opera cliffhanger designed to keep us glued to our screens. Who had been hit was this then for one of these fierce women? The uncertainty lingered like a storm cloud, amplifying the stakes of their volatile relationship. As we held our breath, theories swirled. Would Luna's reckless spree claim another victim? Or would Sheila's notorious knack for survival shine through once more? This moment wasn't just a plot point. It was a testament to Bold and Beautiful's mastery of suspense, leaving us craving answers and dreading the potential fallout. The reveal: Sheila takes a hit, but not the fatal kind. Tuesday's episode wasted no time in unveiling the outcome of that dramatic gunshot, and the result was both shocking and oddly comedic. Sheila Carter, the queen of comebacks, was the one who took the bullet straight to the foot. While the injury could have been catastrophic, it turned out to be far from life-threatening, much to the relief and amusement of viewers. Luna, ever the provocateur, couldn't resist a jab at her fallen adversary, sneering, "It's just your foot. Grandma, you're not exactly on death's door." Her tone, dripping with disdain, added a layer of dark humor to an otherwise intense scene, highlighting the bizarre dynamic between these two. Sheila, grimacing in pain, yet defiant as ever, became the likely centerpiece of a moment that blended drama with the absurd. This wasn't just a random injury. It was a callback to Sheila's wild history, setting the stage for what promises to be a storyline laced with quirky repercussions. Sheila's missing digits, a legacy of lunacy for longtime fans. Sheila's foot injury isn't just a one-off event, it's a hilarious, if slightly deranged addition to her already infamous track record. Let's take a stroll down memory lane to recall one of the most outlandish chapters in her saga. The time she deliberately severed one of her own toes to fake her death. In a plot twist that could only belong to Bold and Beautiful, Sheila convinced the world she'd been mauled by a bear using her missing digit as gruesome proof of her demise. The sheer audacity of that act, chopping off a piece of herself to evade justice, still boggles the mind. Even in a show known for its wild antics, of course, her ruse eventually unraveled, and the missing toe became a running gag among characters, particularly her husband, Deacon Sharp. Last Halloween, their home and restaurant even featured edible toe-shaped treats as a morbid nod to her past. Now, with a second toe potentially out of commission thanks to Luna's bullet, Sheila's legacy as the multi-toe casualty queen grows even stranger. One can't help but imagine her hobbling through future scenes muttering about the indignity of it all, the humor and pain a soap opera tradition. If there's one thing Bold and Beautiful excels at, it's finding humor in the most unexpected places. And Sheila's latest injury is ripe for comedic exploitation. Picture this. In the coming weeks, characters might start dubbing her "They Toed Marvel," or playfully lamenting her struggle to find shoes that fit her battle-scarred feet. Deacon, with his sharp wit, could lead the charge, cracking jokes at the hospital bedside about how Sheila's foot is becoming a collector's item with each passing misadventure. Maybe we'll see a scene where she hobbles into Forrester Creations only to trip over a stray fabric bolt, turning her injury into a slapstick moment amidst the high-stakes drama. This isn't mere speculation. It's practically a guarantee, given the show's penchant for blending tragedy with levity. After all, in a world where characters face murders, betrayals, and corporate coups on a weekly basis, a little uttersvily at Sheila's expense feels like a necessary breather. It's as if the writers are winking at us, saying, yes, this is absurd, but isn't that why you love us? Luna's reign of terror a darker backdrop, while Sheila's foot fiasco offers a touch of comic relief. It's impossible to ignore the darker undercurrent driving this storyline. Luna Knows All is increasingly an hinged rampage. Her actions, from shooting Sheila to her cavalier attitude toward the consequences, paint a chilling picture of a young woman spiraling out of control. Beneath her snarky comments about Sheila's injury lies a deeper turmoil, perhaps rooted in the daddy issues she's been vocal about in recent episodes. Could her aggression toward Sheila be a displaced rebellion against the family? Teaser. Lack thereof that haunt her?